The SEC is loaded at quarterback heading into 2026, but not every starter is built the same. Today, I'm putting all 16 projected SEC quarterbacks into 5 tiers, from the best of the best to the biggest question marks entering the season. I already know some fan bases are going to hate this, but let's do it. Starting with Alabama, we have Keelan Russell is the projected starter of the Crimson Tide. Former 5-star, huge expectations as most Alabama quarterbacks have. Everything he does will be dissected down to the last drop back. Um, I think he's got all the tools, man. He's athletic. He can extend plays. I think his upside's enormous. Um, my biggest question is experience, man. How's he going to process these SEC defenses? Kalen DeBoer's offense demands a lot of quick decision making and accuracy. I think if he develops rapidly, Alabama can immediately become a playoff threat. So I see him more as a unproven talent, but I think he can move to. I think he can be dangerous, but for right now, he's unproven just based on his lack of experience. Next to Nashville, Tennessee, we have Vanderbilt with Jared Curtis. Um, Enters college, like I said, like the same with Keelan Russell, man. A lot of expectations. Maybe not as much playing for Vanderbilt, but he's a 5-star recruit. He got flipped. I don't know. I think he was committed to Georgia, but now he's going to be a Commodore. Huge arm. From what I've seen, his tape looks great. Great instincts. He's going to be great, but he's a freshman in the SEC. He's going to make a ton of mistakes. Um, I think Clark Lee will have him prepared, but just not this season. So unfortunately, I have to put Jared Curtis as our first raw talent. Talk to me this time next year about Jared Curtis, and we may be having a different conversation. But I don't expect much from him this year. Now to College Station, we have Marcel Reed. Obviously one of the most dangerous quarterbacks in college football. It sounds like he's improved a lot, especially from that the playoff game against Miami. But when he gets outside the pocket, man, it's hard to contain him. So if what they're saying is true, and he's improved as tremendously as they're saying he has, I think Texas A&M will be a playoff contender, and I think he will be a Heisman contender just like he was last year. He's right in between here. He's going to be a very low tier Heisman ranking for me, but for right now he's going to be the first Heisman. Based on who else I put in this list, I might move him down, but it'd be wrong to not put Marcel Reed up there. Now to Texas, we have Arch Manning. Not many other names in college football as big as his. He had a lot of blunders last season. The talent is there. I'm not sure if there was any underlying injuries that were happening. He did not have his best season. Obviously, he's still Arch Manning. He has a ton of talent, but I don't consider him. I don't consider him a Heisman. He's dangerous. He has the talent. His last name is Manning, so he obviously has the talent, the gene. But I don't put him in the same tier as Marcel Reed. I just don't see it now. He just didn't play well last year enough for me to put him in the Heisman ranking. I know that's going to be a very hot take because a lot of people consider him the favorite to win the Heisman, and I'm pretty sure he's the betting odd favorite to win the Heisman. But I don't think he is on that level. So until I'm proven otherwise, I might eat crow on this, but for now, he's just dangerous. And over to Rocky Top, we have George McIntyre. It sounds like Tennessee's putting all their chips on this guy. He was an elite recruit out of high school. He's got a big arm. He's pretty big. Pause. He's got to be able to handle Josh Heupel's offense, man. I think the potential's there, but I haven't seen enough out of him, so put him in raw for now. There's still a QB battle going on in Knoxville currently, so he may not even be the starter. But for right now, McIntyre is a raw talent for me. LaNorris Sellers, South Carolina. Where do I start with LaNorris Sellers? When he is playing at his best, he is unstoppable. There's not many quarterbacks that are built like a linebacker, man. He throws great for his size. It doesn't make sense for what he does. He throws absolute lasers. I feel like his consistency has improved every season. I think South Carolina will take a bit of a step up this year. We'll see. I'm going to put him under dangerous. I'm going to put him under Arch for now. I think he could be a Heisman contender, but I don't believe South Carolina has the dogs to do that. So for now, he's just going to be dangerous for me. Hot take, not so hot take. This is the best quarterback in the SEC, man. He's terrifying. We get to see what he does without Lane Kiffin. In the few games that they played without Lane Kiffin, still look the same to me. Got a ton of experience. Obviously won that lawsuit for him to be able to come back and play another year. I think Ole Miss is a dark horse. He, to me, is the Heisman odds-on favorite. I believe he'll lead Ole Miss to the promised land. I think he'll put up similar numbers to last year. We'll see how he does under a full season, not with Lane Kiffin. So, yeah, legitimate Heisman contender. Arguably the best quarterback in the country. John Mateer. Now, there was a time last year where John Mateer was my favorite quarterback in college football. Um, got hurt, obviously, just wasn't really the same after that. He can throw, he can run. Was talked about to be the Heisman for the first 3 weeks of last year. When he's healthy, Oklahoma's offense skyrockets, but we saw some serious blunders out of them last year. Can he limit turnovers? I don't know. I'm not huge on Oklahoma this year, but I think if John Mateer cleans up his mistakes, I think he is a dark horse as an all SEC candidate. So I'm going to put him at solid. I'll put him dangerous, but he's not as dangerous as these guys. Um, yeah, John Mateer. Now, I don't want to put my name behind him being one of the most underrated quarterbacks and untalked about quarterbacks for the Missouri Tigers. Um, didn't get to see him much last year. Obviously, I believe he got hurt or benched. But in the short sample size, he looked great to me. Um, I don't know how good Missouri is going to build around him. That's why I'm not going to put him any higher than this. I'm going to put him in solid. Oop, no, you're not unproven. He's not going to be on Sports Center every week, but he will definitely be the factor in why Missouri wins more games than people think. He's a great veteran presence. That's very valuable in the SEC. So, Kamario Taylor for the Bulldogs, the fighting Brandon Walkers. He's getting the keys to the castle, man. He's young. I love watching him play football. I believe he fits right into Levy's scheme. He's explosive. He's mobile. He's going to be putting up highlights pretty much every week. Just not much experience. There's going to be mistakes, growing pains, but I think he's one of the most intriguing young quarterbacks in the SEC. I think he's going to have flashes of greatness, and I think he's the future of this program. So I haven't seen much from him. I'm going to put him in unproven, but I think he can be a very solid quarterback for Jeff Lebby. Sam Levitt. Now, he was underrated last year, and I didn't have this brought to my attention until I was in an argument about him not being that good. Obviously, the number one transfer in college football, according to pretty much every site on 3. He was electric, him and Cam Scadaboo 2 years ago. Obviously, was injured a bit last year. He's aggressive, he's athletic, and he thrives when he needs to. That fits right into Lane Kiffin's scheme there. I believe, I think if he adapts quickly, LSU can become a legitimate SEC contender, but I'm just going to put him in dangerous for now. I'm not going to go as far to say he's a Heisman, but I'll definitely put him above John Mateer. Kentucky's Kenny Minchey, transfer from Notre Dame, I believe. Hasn't won the job officially, but I think from what I'm hearing, he's going to be the man in Lexington. I think that's where Kentucky is. Or the university is Lexington, I think. Anyways, doesn't matter. The talent's there. I'm obviously a former Notre Dame guy. Flipped his commitment from Nebraska to play real football. I don't think there's many expectations for this kid, man. I think he has what it takes, but Kentucky's not exactly a school you go to be this Heisman candidate or to be considered a dangerous quarterback. Kentucky, I don't know, is in a position to put him in a spot to succeed. New head coach, we'll see how he gets the boys running. I think the Wildcats can build around him. I think he'll surprise a lot of people. I think he's a sleeper pick, but for me, he's unproven as of right now. I'll put him above Kamari. Actually, I like Kamari more. I'll put him right there for me. Gunnar Stockton. Now, this is probably the more safe pick in the SEC for a quarterback. Obviously won the SEC last year. He's played in those big games. He's not going to have to learn a new system. He's not flashy, but he's gritty. He's efficient, physical, doesn't make many mistakes. I would say he is a perfect example for how you want your quarterback to play. His deep passing is a bit of a question. But if that has improved, which I haven't heard anything, obviously you're not going to know that till the first game hits. But I like Gunnar Stockton. I think he's dangerous. I'm going to put him above. I don't think he's a Heisman. Well, I'm going to put him as a low tier Heisman for now. I really want to put him as a high tier dangerous, but if Georgia succeeds, I think he's just going to be pushed to the front of that. So to Gainesville, Florida, Aaron Philo is expected to win the job. Georgia Tech guy. From what I understand and what I've been watching of him, is a very smart, accurate guy. Doesn't really force anything that doesn't need to be, doesn't need to happen. He's not gonna, blow you away with how he plays quarterback. But he's a very trustworthy guy to run the offense. He's obviously in a little bit different situation than Georgia Tech. He's playing in the SEC. Does he have the stability to be a great quarterback? I'm not sure. The talent's there. It's just more about putting the pieces together. I think he has a very solid floor with an underrated upside. For now, I'll put him as unproven. Byron Brown. Where do I go with Byron Brown? Now, his first year playing SEC ball, obviously followed his coach from South Florida. He's a great dual threat QB, man. He can beat you on the ground, through the air. Can pretty much do everything. He's a perfect form for an SEC quarterback. He's huge. I think he's due for a breakout season, man. We'll see how he does with these new SEC defenses. I'm going to put him in dangerous. I'm going to put him above Sam Levitt. I like Byron Brown a little bit more than Sam Levitt. So I'm going to put for the Auburn Tigers, your guy, man. I think they're due for a year. I believe that's Austin Mack right there. So I'm not going to put him anywhere. I'll put him right next to his guy. Put him at the back here. Because I think they're both fighting for I didn't mean to put him in there. Sorry. Our final team, the Arkansas Razorbacks, KJ Jackson. Huge, great athlete. Makes me want to watch Arkansas football a little bit more. They desperately need a spark, man. He's extremely dangerous with his legs. He's going to rip off explosive plays a lot. And what the concern is for most of these quarterbacks is consistency. There's going to be a lot of mistakes. Can you limit those mistakes? Can you come back from these mistakes? I think he needs some work as a passer more. I believe if he can develop a little bit more as a decision maker, I think Arkansas could be better than people think. That schedule is still brutal, but I think he has some of the higher upside in this conference. So I'm going to put him as a solid quarterback to round off our SEC quarterbacks. As you can see, the SEC quarterback room is insane. There's a lot of huge names in here, a lot of veterans, a lot of Heisman hopefuls. I'll probably eat crow on some of these Heisman hopefuls. I probably should have put Arch Manning in the Heisman, but what are you going to do? A lot of great transfers, a lot of young guys that I think can be great. Yeah, I think the SEC is in a great spot for quarterback talent and elite names. So thank you guys for watching so much, and I will catch you next time.